There are exercises on page 43 and 44 of your books about must. There is a conversation between two people. So what is a must and what is a must for you, and what is a should thing or something which has a possibility to do, but it's not an obligation for you to do. So you can see the sentences and identify and try to write by yourself your musts. Like for example, coming to school is a must for you, and eating your breakfast, lunch and dinner is a must for you. Unless you eat, you are going to be sick. So this is a must. Try to write, use these structures, should and must. In this side, write something you should do, and here write things that must be done by you. So try to see the difference between your sentences, and you can easily understand when to use should and when to use must. The other thing that you should remember here, they have negative forms. Negative forms. For example, you shouldn't be late. Again, it is an advice, but it is negative. Negative means you shouldn't be late. It is an advice, but it is in negative form. As you remember, there are 4 types of sentences: statement sentence, statement sentences. They can be negative sentences, negative, or positive. So the first sentence, this one, you should see a doctor, is a positive sentence, and you shouldn't be late is a negative sentence. The only thing, the difference is there is no difference in what they want to express. The difference is one of them is positive, which means something that you should do, but the other one, when it is negative, something that you shouldn't do. So this is a difference. The same is true for must. So you have to remember these things, and there are exercises on page 45 also about should and shouldn't. So you have to remember all these things about these modal verbs. The other thing on page 47 of your book is about writing. So last time, if you remember, we discussed the rules or the punctuation marks that we need to use when we are writing paragraphs. So after you write those paragraphs, they have orders or sequences where we should put the first sentence or where we should put the last sentence. If you are making the first sentence as the last or the last sentence as the beginning, the last sentence as the beginning, it doesn't give any meaning or any sense. So what are we going to do? We are going to put words in their correct order to give a correct sense. That is what sentence means. You know, sentence is a word or a group of words that give sense. So if we want to give words give sense, we have to put them in their correct order. So here on page 47, there are jumbled sentences. They are not in their correct place. So we have to put them in their correct place to get a meaningful sentence. So let us do some of them. Let's try number 1. Going to avoid places lonely, unsafe. So these are group of words. We cannot call them sentences. Can you tell me why? Yes, because they are not in their correct place. They are not in their correct order. So we have to put them in their correct order so that they can be a meaningful sentence. Okay, as I told you earlier, so sequences are very important so that we can get a meaningful sentence. So there is some mistake on the first question of your textbook. So we can start from the first one. At night, don't walk alone. So we can put them in their correct order so that we can get a meaningful sense. Don't walk alone at night. So this we put don't at the beginning, then walk, then the adverb alone, and then at night. So don't walk alone at night. So we rearrange the words so that we can get a meaningful sentence. So the next one, the third, the fourth, and the fifth one, you try it by yourself and try to arrange the words in their correct order and write them on your exercise book. Okay, so we have seen these things. Imperative commands or imperatives or command sentence gives us order. The second thing, imperative or command sentences mostly they take full stop at the end, but sometimes if the command is given with a strong emotion, then we are going to put, or we can put, exclamatory mark. So on page 50 of your book, 52 of your books, there are some examples. Rewrite the sentences in imperative, it says. So sentences are given. Just a normal statement sentences are given. What are you going to do? You are going to change them into commands or instructions. Like the example given here. You mustn't step on the grass, which means you don't have to walk on the grass. So how can we change this into imperative? Don't step on the grass. This is now a command. Something that gives you order not to do, not to do. The second one also, you mustn't play on the street. So don't play on the street. Don't play on the street. This is a command. So there are exercises. You can try it by yourself. The one that I want to give you as a homework is on page 53. You are going to write 5 commands that you hear in your school. For example, your teachers, the principal tells you every day some things to do and some things not to do, which means they are giving you order. So I need you to write those 5 things, something that you must do, which is ordered by the teachers, or it can be by the principals of the school. So I need you to write 5 sentences on your exercise book as a homework or on a piece of paper. Try it and then we will see it. So imperative sentences, to just summarize what we have seen today, is about modal verbs. Modal verbs. Earlier we have seen about can. Then today we added should and must. So when do we use should? To give advice, and must for obligations or something that has a consequence if we are not doing it. And the other thing is there is a passage about Ayele's bad day, and also the vocabularies. Read those passages and do the vocabularies. The other thing that we have discussed is about types of sentences, the 4 types of sentences, and mainly we talked about imperative sentences. Imperative sentences are sentences that gives us order, and they will take full stops and sometimes exclamation mark. And I gave you a homework on page 53. Please, dear parents, please follow your students to just summarize all the things here we learned today and help them to do the homework on a piece of paper, and let them try to do it by themselves. Instead of doing it for them, let them or help them to do it by themselves. So write 5 command sentences which are given by your teachers or your school administrators in the school. So this is all what I have for today. Thank you. See you next time.